I heard a story. Y'all was out Vegas, I want to say, and they say Carlos Booz and them had a mob out there just running everybody out the building, destroyed them, and they said they just beat the crap out of somebody. And they said they was coming up to the gym, and somebody asked Boozer, they said, who y'all got next? They say Boozer said it don't matter who we got next. And they said they had y'all up next, and say man, y'all made the game ugly in the first half, man. They say y'all made it out of reach in the first half.
Yeah. We did, but I would egg the kids on.
I'm gonna say you give them
You
extra
know,
pep talk.
oh man, y'all heard that, right? You know, but also, man, like y'all ain't gonna eat. You know, y'all come in here and lay an egg, you ain't eating today. So
you back in that's the stuff they motivate us on.
Yeah,
you lose, you ain't eating, you go home, you ain't get no McDonald's. You brought that you brought that back to them, okay?
Yeah.
But
they had them all though. Sean Stevenson was on that team. They had a team.
Yeah, I heard they said Sean. See, they was naming
They
that.
had the twins.
I said they loaded, man.
They had them twins that's in the league now. Lopez. They had them all.
God dang, what's the name? So out of all the teams that you played, what did y'all play that Atlanta Celtics? They was the mob, but that big boy and them.
We done played the Celtics a few times, and I'll tell you what happened was we ended up playing the Celtics, but I think they beat us, but I think it'd have been a better game. But our big kid had to leave from Vegas, and we have the kid. Just damn kid. Played for Golden State, man. He was like number 7 pick. Bidris. Andres.
Oh yeah.
Bidris.
Yeah. He played in
Bidris.
Right.
Bidris.
College. He played with
He ain't playing college. No, he was overseas. He was in overseas. Then he came over here and got drafted. I think he got drafted by Golden State.
Okay.
Andres, left-handed, big kid, about 6'11". So what happened was we had him playing with us for a while, and but he had to go home, so it was hard playing against Dwight. That was too much.
They had a mob.
Yeah,
right,
Josh Smith. Like every time you look up the ball, the rim getting
right on that joint.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of coaches come to your program. How many coaches came to your program actually got college jobs, coaching jobs?
You know, Bone, I don't know the number right off top.
Some of the programs, name some of the programs they went to.
That's still active. Well, we got, let's see where I started. You know, of course, Troy not in college. Corey McCray up at Boston College now. David Cox, who was just the head coach of Rhode Island, he's over in Maryland now.
Maryland, okay.
Todd Bozeman came through the program. Mike Pegues, who was just at Louisville, he was the interim coach. He's now at Butler. Getting old, man.
You know.
Yeah.
You named Dante?
Delonte's not coaching now. Delonte left the school he was at last year. He was at Stephen F. Austin, but Delonte lost his dad, so he took leave and didn't go back. But Bruce was just at Maryland, Bruce Shingler.
Right. You put some in there. You got some
Nolan. Nolan is
how you forget Nolan? Man, Nolan, you heard him, man. The man forgot you.
No,
he named you last, bro.
He just changed. He just changed schools. Nolan was at Duke. Tyler Thornton, who played at Duke. Tyler's at Howard. Eric Atkins, that played at Notre Dame. He was just over GW.
Okay.
Man, that ain't even it though. I know for a fact.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. When you first seen Melo play, man, what you was thinking? Carmelo.
Oh, he the goods.
He the goods.
Yeah, you know he really got his name off of us.
Hold on now. What you saying? That my Baltimore guy, they give me the blues now. Hold on now.
Listen. No, what I'm saying is we went up there to play him, and he fried us, and he was on the map from there.
Oh, you think that's how he got his name, because he fried y'all. The safety, what y'all did to Odom, and he did it.
I don't know who was guarding him. I think it was James White. But, man, Bone, and then he went to Vegas. He did ABCD, but I'm talking about like 10th grade. Like, he's special.
This came on nowhere. This.
I mean, we went up there to just scrimmage. It wasn't even a real game. And, I mean, I think he demolished us like we was little boy.
It was. I know they kept on saying they was trying to compare him with him and DJ back at that level. So he was a little more polished than DJ.
Yeah, well, what Melo always had a little body, and he played aggressive. Melo played on the block. You know,
Man, the
Melo
Asian
mixed it
they,
up,
man.
and he was legit. With back then 6'6", but then in college 6'8". Melo was a problem because if you're too small, he gonna take you to the block,
Right. You too
and
slow,
then
he
if
go
you're
around
too
you.
slow, he gonna get around you, and then he can shoot it. Like he was the jack of all trades. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the most athletic guy, but he didn't need to because he was so physical. Even when he wasn't big and strong, but he was always physical, man. And that, you know, a lot of the guys, kids from Baltimore, a lot of them play that way. You know, they'll play real physical.
Gritty over there, always be gritty and tough up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So man, why it seemed like why Georgetown and Maryland didn't get a lot of DC assault guys?
Well, I mean, you know, what happened with me and Maryland, it went back in terms of DJ, where DJ wanted to go to North Carolina. North Carolina didn't recruit him because they just said he not going to college. So his next school was Maryland, and we couldn't make it happen. So we backed away from Maryland, and actually we took DJ up to Maryland to meet with the staff, and Gary Williams didn't show up.
He didn't show Gary.
No.
Okay.
So his assistants was there. And then years later, Gary, we wanted to sit down together and chop it up, see how we could make the relationship work. And during that time, I think Nolan and all those guys were like ninth graders, I think. And I sat down to lunch with Gary, and Gary had an opening, the job opening. So he asked me, do I have any name for him to hire? So I said David Cox. And during that time, Cox was coaching Nolan. He had coached them. So I'm saying those kids love Nolan. On that team before, it was Lumpy, Chris Wright, Nolan, Adrian Bowie, Mike Beasley, which now Maryland has a legitimate shot at these kids with David Cox over there on the staff. You know what I'm saying? So Gary said he couldn't do it, something. So I said, well, what about Troy Weaver? He was like, Troy don't have his degree. I said, yes, he do. You know, but I just got the vibe that Gary really just didn't want to hire one of my guys. And he ended up hiring Michael Adams on the staff. You know, so me and Gary, and then later on down the years, we chopped it up. The kid Wally Judge was going to transfer over to Maryland, and me and Gary got good. Georgetown, I always had a great relationship with them. You know, the few guys that they did have, I just thought that guys I didn't think they did a good job. And then when Brodus was over there, Brodus, the last guy, Brodus guy was Austin Freeman, which, you know, and again, a lot of times, man, what people don't understand, you're giving too much credit when you don't really run the show with all the kids. They got parents too, who run their recruiting. I don't control all the recruiting. You know, I'm gonna have 2 or 3 or 4 who may want me to help with the recruit, but then the other 4 or 5, their parents deal with that. Now I can give them advice. Some may say, Curtis, can you come sit in on the home visits? But you do what you can do. I mean, Brodus went and got Austin done. The Freeman family loved him. They like John. So at the end of the day, you know, it really wasn't no issue, you know, like people may really think, you know.
Right.
But it really wasn't.
Out of all the college coaches you came encounter with, who was the best recruiter? I know back in the day, they said left it to Zell to sleep outside your house for Maryland. They said he'd be at the church everywhere, man. Who was the best recruiters you seen in your time?
Best recruiter. You know, that's hard, Bone, because I feel like the head coaches are only as good as their assistants. Most of the assistants are the ones get everything done. You know, so, I mean, watching Calipari, I think he is the best. Calipari is very, very different, man. He's smooth. He make it happen.
Got that lingo too.
He got it. You know what I mean? So Cal know how to work it and get it done. You know, people think that guys like Calipari, Kentucky got to cheat, but guys want to go play for Cal. You know,
Tino got that gift for
Tino
gab
got
too.
the gift for gab. He's
Yeah,
smooth.
yeah.
Yes, he's smooth.
Yeah.
You know, I like Huggins. I think Hugs will hang out with your uncle, your grandfather, whoever.
Well, yeah.
You know, Hugs used to come to town and come over Palm Park and sit on the porch with me till 2, 3 in the morning.
Oh yeah. That's all time was committed. He committed. I like his team because he be having them gritty little teams, man.
Yeah.
94 feet
Yeah.
type joints,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So then, give me your top 5 college coaches of all time as far as coaching, their coaching ability. You had to select them in any order, not specific.
I mean,
just 5.
you have to. One of the top coaches I like that I think is great, and he don't get enough credit, is Leonard Hamilton at Florida State. I think Leonard is a really good coach. I mean, of course, I like Kay. I like Huggins. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't know if I can put a certain 5. I mean, Bill Self is great. Every year he's playing in the Final Four, and Izzo. So them my guys.
Izzo. I wait for that. That's what I was gonna say.
K. Izzo. I like Seth. But I think Leonard Hamilton is a hell of a coach without him getting these players that these guys get.
Right.
Leonard ain't getting 5 McDonald's All-Americans.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they ain't putting in pros in the league too.
I think that Gary Williams underrated.
Gary was
great.
good.
He was rumbling Duke in North
Well-
Carolina with some regular.
Well, see, and back then, what happened with college basketball, you didn't have guys leaving one and done. And Gary teams always stayed. See, and they had that seniority. They were good. That's what I like about Michigan. Michigan State, I mean. Izzo, he keep them guys around, and they get better.
What about Calhoun?
Calhoun, Calhoun, but then that's a hard knock on. That's knocking somebody out of that 5th, that top 5. But Calhoun was a great coach, man. I mean, Jay Wright.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's hard to put a 5. Like I said, it's guys that I like. Like, I think Huggins could coach because, again, Huggins don't get the McDonald's All-Americans that most of these other schools get. So, and Hugs going to play in March. He going to get in the tournament, might win a few games before you know he might be at the Final Four.
Right.
But he gets some rugged guys who just want to play basketball.
Exactly. How many McDonald players you had?
I think we had around 7.
7.
Mark Concha was first. Kevin Lyde, DJ, Keith Bogans, James White, Nolan, Mike, Austin, 8, 9, Melo Trimble.
Okay.
Up until 13.
I love Melo Trimble.
Yeah.
What about Cook?
Oh, Quinn, damn. How I forget that?
Yeah, Cook. Yeah,
That's 10.
Yeah, Cook. Yeah. Okay.
That's 10. So not counting, like I said, my Texas team.
Okay.
I had Marcus Smart.
I had decent assault, Texas?
Texas assault, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he snuck that in. I heard about it. I didn't know that went through with that.
Isaiah Austin, yeah, they were loaded too.
Damn. So how many pros you have? I know you can't name them, but I mean, how many you think if you had to just take a guess at it, around about?
Probably had to say, man, about 20 something.
20 something. Damn. And overseas, you got to throw another 20 in there.
You got to count another 75, 100 to that because almost every player that probably came through the program, and besides a few that didn't play college ball long, but if the ones who played college and played 4 years of college, most of them probably went overseas to at least try to have a career. And then some of it didn't work because at the end they all wanted to play basketball for money. but some wasn't good enough to really make a lot of money. But all of them probably done tasted
Right.
the waters over there.
Right. What's your thoughts about the NBA? They had that rookie symposium when the players go, I guess they for a couple of days, and they tell them about all the horror stories of family members and financial advisors and all that. What's your opinion on that right there?
Well, you know what? I don't. I mean, I think it's a good thing. Some kids need to hear certain things, but I don't. Me myself, there's no way somebody could get up on this podium and tell me about my family,
Right.
who has drove all the miles to take me to school, who have paid for my training all my life, who had took me to all my AAU team program tournaments,
Right.
who been around me when I didn't have anything,
Nothing, right.
can sit up there and now tell me I'm not supposed to trust my uncle. You know, they give you financial guys. You know, a lot of them screw up kids' money. So
It's their guys.
it's their guys. You know,
yeah,
they
their guys.
recommend some guy. You know, so I don't believe in it myself. You know, I think my vision has always been if the team could have their own like a program within the organization to focus on the rookie kids, spend time around them. I think that would be the perfect route because some kids, man, don't bring family with them. That's a big adjustment being in the NBA. But I think that, you know, you should have some people work for you that can help them grow. You know, the do's and the don'ts. You know, if they want to go to the club, you know, you got some people. You know, you got a group that work for you.
Right.
Some young guys that's in the organization. You know, to make sure he's getting home, he's leaving the club, he's not hanging, he's not drinking too much. You know, and I know it's called babysitting, but sometimes some of them guys are too young. They need it.
Some of them need it.
And the team make enough money. Shit, the team worth $1 billion. You could pay two guys $100,000 a piece.
It ain't gonna hurt them.
No, it ain't gonna hurt them. You know, so I think with the NBA, I think that would be something really good to do. Each organization have their own program within.
Right. Okay. So, United States of America versus Curtis Malone, man. Can we touch on any of that?
Yeah.
So, how did you feel the night or the day that they came and grabbed you? I mean, like, what's going through your mind? For example, like when they grabbed me, what's going through my mind was, damn, when I got the handcuffs on me and the cameras on me, I'm like, my grandma's about to see, she's about to be official. She know I'm selling drugs, I'm hustling, right? That's what I'm thinking for my grandma at this time. You know, the weirdest things come to your mind, right? What's going through your mind as you getting locked up?
Well, the first thing went through my mind, Bone, was I'm gone.
Okay.
These people will wash my ass up. You know, so that's what that's my first. And then, you know, I was embarrassed that the hurt that so many people looked up to me, man. It's, my dad is older. You know, I know I ain't gonna be able to be with him. You know, him and my mom. You know, so I just felt disgusted, man. Like I gotta face this,
Right.
but I also, how do I go through this and get back? I don't want all my reputation to be ruined.
All right.
You know, so for me it was just like, one step at a time, man. You know, and then when I went to court, I went to Saturday court, and the judge said, "Oh, he can get out of here. He going across the street." I said, "Oh shit."
District court.
Oh yeah, district court. She
Mandatory
said he don't
minimum.
belong over here.
Mandatory minimum.
I said, Lord have mercy. What the hell I done got myself into?
Right,
But, I was just more disappointed in the letdown of everybody, man. My family, man.
Right. So what was going on in your life at that moment where you felt like that you had to take a chance? You had to guess what was going on?
Selfishness, greedy, not being patient, again, thinking I could dibble and dabble and steal a few dollars here and there,
Yeah.
And it had worked for a while,
Right.
but again, it was just me I was being selfish, man. Not thinking about nobody but me.
Yeah, that was
You
big of you,
know?
man, because a lot of people don't hold responsibility
Yeah.
to that. So that was commendable for you to do that, man. I'm respecting some other stuff, so I definitely respect not questioning your character, but a lot of people don't want to take that responsibility. So
Yes.
so so that
Yeah.
that definitely was big on you. So when you on the feds, man, and you first got that first 4 o'clock count, they say count time 4 o'clock. Count, man. You like, what's going on in your mind? 'Cause that's another thing tripped me out. They say that first. They took the old heads say, don't mess the 4 o'clock count up. They count the
Yeah.
whole country at
Yeah.
4 o'clock.
Well, now, now it's they do it though while you're in bed, so they can shine you as
Ah,
long as your face showing. They don't. They come through the room, and like you, but you better not be in the bathroom or somewhere
right,
and mess it up. You
right,
know what I'm saying? Like you
right,
said.
right. And
So
what time they do that though? In the
it's
bed.
about 4:35
So they make
o'clock.
everybody get in the bed at 4, just for that count, or people be
No, people already sleep. Oh,
okay,
you
okay.
talking during the
In the
day?
daytime,
Oh
for the
yeah, that's
national
still
count.
there. Yeah, when the shifts change.
Right, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, ain't no
yeah,
question.
yeah.
And you better not go to the bathroom doing that either. So anything you got to do with the microwave, the bathroom, if you got to shit, you better go do it.
Right.
Cause if you mess that count up, it's going down.
I slept. My
Yeah.
first day in the phase, I was in Oakdale, Louisiana, on my first 4 o'clock count. I'm in there with a Chicago dude and a North Carolina dude and me, and nobody was on the top bunk. And this North Carolina dude had a thing for DC dudes that I don't have. He left Texas or County somewhere where somebody got into it with him, some other DC dudes. So he in this joint. Man, DC dudes make me sick. Them niggas think they that, they think they this, da 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 da. And I'm saying, he know it. I already introduced myself as a DC guy, so I'm like, I said, who you talking? Who you referring to? He said, man, I'm referring to you. Now we stand up waiting for the 4 o'clock count. We bust out our bunk. You can hear them walking down the bush
Keys.
lane, right?
Uh huh.
So man, when I said, hey, who you talking to? So he steps over in range. And he come in. He broke the security line. I hit him. He go out, boom. When he hit the ground, it was so quiet because nobody wasn't counting. You could hear him hit the ground. You could hear my feet say skirt skirt when I threw the punch. His feet said skirt skirt when he fall. So all I hear all these keys running to get on the top level, right? Now keep in mind, I'm on the largest drug case in what's name. I done beat 35 life. I actually got nervous because I'm thinking about the old dude saying, you fuck up the 4 o'clock count. It's on, right?
Yeah.
And they run up in that joint, man. And,
But he slipped, right?
no, the Chicago dude. The first day meeting him, he going to work. He lift him up, lean him on the bunk. He lean on the bunk. So time they got me, they say, what's going on? What's going on? They looking at him. He still halfway out, but he looking at me, just staring at me. And then the Chicago dude, they look at me. What happened? I don't say nothing. Chicago dude say, nah, when y'all said 4 o'clock count, he jumped off the bed, rushing. He was sleeping. He fell, and he hit his head. You know what I'm saying? Well, I helped him up. And they looking at him, and they keep seeing him look at me.
They
So
ain't look.
they ain't looking at my hands,
Oh
right? They
damn.
said they looking at him, so they said, okay. They kept counting, and they said, Chambers, come and see us when the count is recounted. And I went down there, and they say, man, you come up here with that DC shit, we gonna hide you, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, out of all the stuff I got in trouble with, I actually was that scared because all the old dudes in the pool room, bars, you messed the 4 o'clock count up, man, they gonna hide you, right? This is my first day on the conference. That's why I asked you about
Yeah, yeah.
the 4 o'clock
it
count.
was real, and luckily, I went to the camp, man.
Okay.
So, as soon as I got to the camp, the dudes been there. They give you the rules, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
The DC dudes meet you when you get there. So it was smooth though.
Right.
I learned about that camp, man, that count real quick though, but I end up being some good police up Fort Dix. Sometimes, man, I been in the bed, they count me sleep.
Right, yeah.
But it depends on who working that day, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I ain't had no problem usually with the count though, but it depends on who's working. We were able to get away with some things because some of them officers ain't care.
Right, right. And what you learned about your family and friends when you was locked up?
You know what, man? I learned a lot of the true colors in a lot of people. I realized everybody wasn't genuine, and I just realized, man, that you can't put anybody before family, man, because my family was rode with me, man, 1,000%. I had friends that made sure my father, he came to see me every month, every time he could, so, just the guys that was making sure he got up there, man, and that meant the world to me, and those were 30, 40-year friends, you know what I'm saying? So, in the business I was in with the youth and all that, man, you got so much going on, man. It's a lot of bullshit around you anyway. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of envy around you. You know, no matter how many hands you shake and kick it with, you're always gonna have some guys that envy. You know, that want to probably be you. You know what I mean? Because again, I wore a lot of hats, man. But I learned, I learned true colors, man. But I really just realized how to never put anything before family, man.
And I heard you and your father had a real tight relationship. Ashley Curtis Schoon talked a lot about. You said me a lot about how tight you and your father was,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
your father was a cool dude,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then so man, what was the first when you made your first collect call back home, and you talking to Nolan, and I'm just what was that conversation? What was y'all talking about? What would you tell him? Was he confused or?
Well, not really. I think because Sydney was more involved in everything. Sydney was there at court, everything. Nolan was in school or on his way back to school. But, just, son, I screwed up, and he understood. He probably didn't really understand, but, he made it clear that he gonna ride with me. It don't matter. Like, you pops, you know what I'm saying? Like, and all I can do is let him know, we gonna get through it, you know what I mean? So he was in my corner, from Sydney and them would come to the jail to see me over DC jail. So, I never lost that relationship. That bond was never I never questioned that bond. It was always
What
there.
about your DC Assault family, coaches, your family, your parents, any of those people back out on you
Well,
or what's
we
name?
had, for the most part, I had a lot of my coaches who rode with me. A lot of them, and we had a few that we had our
Okay.
disagreements with, who, didn't ride with me, and the
Okay.
relationship kind of got cloudy.
Okay.
But for the most part, it was because I had so many teams, man. I had coaches and I had parents who was coming to see me, man, and when I got up to the camp, man, I had 80 visitor forms sent in. My counselor up there said he ain't never seen no shit like this in his life.
Right, yeah.
So I had a lot of people that wanted to see me, that wanted to come up. So I didn't lose a lot of support, man. Some of the ones I did lose kind of it hurt, because I never thought some of those relationships I would lose going through that, but it did. And but again, no love lost from me.
Right.
I ain't bitter at
Okay,
nobody,
that's good.
man. And I ain't come back to be bitter and worried about
Right.
what anybody else is doing, man, because I got to keep my focus on me and what's what I got going on.
All right. Did you get any shots, any disciplinary write-ups when you was locked up for
Yeah,
anything?
yeah. I got a phone shot.
Okay.
I got sent from the camp. I got and when I got to the camp, when I got sent from the camp to Fort Dix, I caught a drinking shot. So I was supposed to go back to a camp. So I stayed up Fort Dix for the rest of the time. So few little other talking to the officer, some little 400 shots. I probably had like 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Okay. When you was incarcerated, you was gone. Did you like the direction that DC Assault went into?
Well, DC Assault didn't go in no direction because DC Assault ended when I left.
Oh, okay.
But those guys started their own program.
Okay.
So it wasn't, it really, we didn't agree. And they wanted, we could have kept the name, and we tried to keep the name for a little bit. But then, Damon and Mike wanted their own program. So again, it was understandable, you know what I'm saying? But they started their own team, DC Premier, but that wasn't DC Assault.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I thought they just transferred the name, but they ended up doing their own little.
Yeah, they did their own
So the
thing.
Under Armour and all that was all part of the new thing with their team.
Where they got
Or did y'all have Under Armour too?
we were Under Armour. DC Assault was, but what happened was they wanted to change the name, and they wanted some other things changed in the contract. So my daughter Sydney name was on the contract, and they didn't want her on the contract. So Sydney called Under Armour to tell them to just don't worry about us. Go ahead and get them their deal or whatever. So they ended up getting their deal. And we were, I think, Adidas for a little bit because Nolan was paying for everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, again, and I didn't fight because I could have turned it into a shit show and tried to make sure that DC Assault was still running, which I think I could have, but I didn't. I was just like, if they want to do their own thing, let them do their thing. So it wasn't no, like I said, it wasn't no hard feelings. I thought that the program could have continued to be because Under Armour made it clear we don't have to change the name.
Right, okay. And when you was locked up from a competitive standpoint, not an envy or jealous, just being competitive, when you hear Keith Stevens have the team takeover and they actually taking over, was you like, man, if I was out there, it would be no takeover.
Well, you know what's funny? I called Keith and Nunu them, and you know, and I'm like, man, what the fuck is y'all naming y'all team Takeover for? What the fuck is y'all taking over? You know, so we would have our laughs and the competitiveness, right? So, you know, again, man, Keith, you know, Keith was under me. It was with all together, him and Nunu, everybody. We all was together.
Nunu was hustling. It was everywhere, running out of gyms, all that.
Yeah. So, you know, it was all love. You know what I mean? But again, it wasn't that much competition. And during that time, either you're really going with Takeover or Assault.
Right.
You know, Blue Devils was kind of a little bit. They was getting back in. But, you know, we were going to get the players. But Keith was happy when I was, you know, he was not happy that I was gone. But I talked to him one day at DC jail, and he said, you know, your boy's dead. I said, what you mean? He said, they don't stand a motherfucking chance now. So we laughed about it, man. But, no, and Keith, man, take my hat off to him, Bone, man. One of the top people in my corner, man, through it all, man. You know, that whole 7 years, man, he was there. When I came home, been there, you know, and I love him, man, and I appreciate everything he do for me, man, you know.
Yeah, Shorty definitely was a workaholic, man. Like I said, him and Nunu, I come on any gym, they running it out them joints, man. You would think that Keith was with immigration, man. He kept a 7-footer, 6'8" with him, man. He gonna be the one, man. I'm telling you, man. Watch out with him. He gonna be the one.
Hustle.
He gonna be the one.
He hustle. But you know, in that game, it's just like what we grew up in.
Right.
Man, what they say, early bird get the first worm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't believing no sleeping. That's why I'm going to the elementary. You said your nephew play up Brightwood? What time they play? I'm going up there. What size he wear? Like, Shorty gonna have his new shoes and everything in 6th grade. Like, and even if he don't make it, because I love the game, you know, but, man, I was in the gym, man. Keith and them know. Keith would see me and just, man, what you doing out here?
It's like the block, you know, you be working all night and people falling asleep. You like, man, I got to go down and sell and give me a big coffee. Or down in the corner store, give me a big coffee. I got to squeeze about 7 more hours out here, right?
Bullshit,
Out the park, niggas know me. Curtbone, little homie. All days, yeah. Been a road.
Thank you for watching Changing Jewels on Curtbone TV. If you like the jewels that we are dropping, subscribe, hit the notification, and share with some friends. And I'll see you on the next episode of Changing Jewels, Curtbone TV.